Hello everybody, welcome back to DillonCOYS, and today we're going to be talking about the transfer window, the summer transfer window that has just pretty much finished a few days ago. I'm going to be giving my thoughts, my ratings, and we're going to be summarising what has actually gone on. Now, to start off with the transfers that we actually managed to get in, Kevin Danso, who was a loan, who was made now permanent from Lens. Matty Tell, also another loan made permanent from Bayern Munich. Luka Vuskovic, 12 million Highjock split, if I'm pronouncing that right. We actually got him the moment he turned 18. He was then made permanent and he came over. It was an agreement that was done quite a while ago. Mohamed Kudus, £55 million from West Ham, as we know of. They're still not happy about it. João Paulinho, loan with buy option, £25 million from Bayern. So whether we're actually going to make him permanent, I'm not sure. Though he's had some great starting games at Spurs, so maybe. Although age might be a bit of a factor. A big one, Xavi Simons, arguably probably our biggest transfer, 52 million. I'm sure there's add-ons on there as well from RB Leipzig. And then finally, Randall Kolo Muani, who is just a straight-up loan from PSG. And then finally, transfers out, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Although he's been gone for a while, he was a loan. He was a loan with a buy option for 20 million to Marseille, so he didn't play it all last season. I'm still a little bit gutted that he's left. I thought he was a quality player, but he's officially gone now. Heung-min Son, as we know, our absolute captain legend for Spurs. I'm already missing him. I can't lie, we're already missing him on that left-hand side. I know he struggled last season, but it's a shame that Frank hasn't got the chance to use him, but we're going to miss him. But that's 20 million to Los Angeles FC. And finally, Brian Hill, £10 million to Girona. He's another player who's just been constantly sent out on loan. We've never really used him. It's a shame he didn't work out because he was a massive prospect, a future star, rated by many. So he's another one who's gone as well. But my thoughts, honestly, are probably that it wasn't too strong, this window. I mean, there's definitely been some quality improvements, some great signings, but I think when you look at it as a whole, there were so many times where we missed out on players. You know, we got Eze, which you could argue he was probably never going to come anywhere with Arsenal on the prowl. Morgan Gibbs-White, Savinho. There were so many close calls, and it made the window incredibly frustrating, and it kind of made it a little bit more dull than it should have been. If none of that had happened and we had just got these deals done earlier and first, I think people would have been a bit more happy. But, you know, with players like I've just named, they're quality. I can't lie. They are good players. So, I mean, as a whole, I'm probably going to give the transfer window, I think a 7 out of 10 is a bit fair. Maybe it would be a bit higher if we got some of them over the line. I think we might struggle a little bit with a left wing. We just need Odobert and Tell to really step up their game. I think now that with Tell not in the Champions League phase that is coming up, he was actually picked. Odobert was picked over him, so maybe Tell could get some Premier League game time, or even in the Cups or something like that, and Odobert will get his time in the Champions League, hoping that there is no injuries, because that's the last thing we want, especially after last season. An absolute crisis. And I mean, I can't even just say we've struggled with getting transfers in, we've even struggled getting transfers out. Mana Solomon was someone who looked like they were going to be on their way out. I think Crystal Palace were on their way to getting him, and they pulled out last minute. Just don't bother doing business with Crystal Palace anymore, okay? Because clearly they hate us, alright? With the Eze deal and now this, they're taking the piss. Just don't bother them anymore, please. Our best bit of business of getting players out was probably Heung-min Son. I mean, he's in his early 30s now. He's approaching probably the end of his career, and we managed to get 20 million out of him. Although, to be fair, I mean, I can understand that. Obviously, he is Heung-min Son. He's seen as a god in South Korea. So I don't think LAFC mind paying that much. I know for a fact that it is, I think in MLS history, the highest paid player. Not paid player, but the highest transfer fee. So it's an investment for them as well. So they've probably already made half their money back. I can't lie. Another question is, where do we go from here? I think maybe now with Levy now gone, we might, and I have heard some news that we might try and strengthen once again in January. I've heard that Savinho is not off the table. I don't know how much game time he's going to get at City now, especially after this whole ordeal. He seemed open to joining. That's what I heard. I think maybe next summer transfer window, I'm hoping at least we can actually get some proper business done, especially with all of this money that's apparently been rumoured to be invested or injected into the club. If you haven't heard already, I think it's about 100 million, and I did actually hear it could even be more than that over time. I'm hearing there could be a stadium deal that could be on the way. Big things should be happening, and it does raise the question, was Daniel Levy really holding us back that much? I mean, I know he's been an absolute pain in transfer negotiations, and just negotiating negotiations as a whole. But, you know, I've given him praise for his business side, not strictly the football side. But was he really also holding these kind of things back, or was it just people didn't want to deal with him? And there was also talk of if you haven't seen again already on Twitter or X, that Spurs have released a statement basically saying that we've rejected 2 offers to buy the club, which is massive. But it's about time we're getting communication, like straight up communication to the fans. Something we've been probably dreaming about for years now. Just some proper, formal, sensible communication. They basically said the board of Tottenham Hotspur Limited, I think that's changed now, is aware of recent media speculation and confirms that its majority shareholder, NX Sports and Development Holding, have received and unequivocally rejected separate preliminary expressions of interest in relation to proposals to acquire the club, basically. Yeah, it's also been said that we have no intention to sell the club, whether that's just they've not met the demands, or they just don't want to sell it, even if they are willing to match an offer that could make Anik happy. I'm not too sure, but if we're gonna be doing this, if you're gonna be adamant that you're not gonna sell the club, you better pump some money, some proper money in now. You've got to have us backed up. All right, because it hasn't felt like that in the last few years. I say last few years, just years in general. It's felt like we haven't been backed up. But yeah, that's something that we could probably look forward to with this whole transfer window. And like I said, it's probably, like I said, 7 out of 10. There's definitely some room for improvement. Hopefully now, as the January transfer window, we might need it. There could be some injuries. Hopefully the last thing we want right now is another injury crisis from what we've seen the last couple of years. But yeah, someone like Savinho on the left wing, I think would be fantastic. We might even need a centre-back as well. With the way we're playing with a back 3, Kevin Danso and Dragusin, can we really rely on them all the time? You know, if we've got Van de Ven, Romero and then Danso playing, who's then going to play if like 2 of them get injured? I know we've got Davies, he's not going to be at the club long, so maybe this is a short-term thing, especially if you just think about quality. But I think centre-back is somewhere we're going to look. I know we were looking at, I'm probably going to butcher his pronunciation, Hincapi, I think it is, something like that. But he didn't want to join us. He went to them lot down the road. It's something we're going to have to have a look at properly next. And maybe now as well, we will also be able to get players out as well as in, because that's something we've really struggled. We don't seem to let players go that often, it feels, which isn't strictly a bad thing. You know, we can keep players at the club who seem to be happy at the club. But you know, there's obviously times. I mean, Basuma is another great example. He looked like he was going to be on his way to Galatasaray. That just all broke down. I was hearing a few things that it was to do with his fitness, maybe a bit of sabotaging. I'm not too sure, but you know, it's stuff like that. We just need to get players out. If they're not in the plans, I mean, we could have easily got him out of the club for about 15, 20 million. And you know, obviously as time's going to go on, that's only going to probably be less, especially as his contract goes down. So it's really frustrating to think about it. But we seem to be doing great with loaning out the youngsters. That doesn't seem to be a problem. I could name a list, but I think it's better you probably look up for yourself, because there's so many youngsters, and they're not exactly first team players, so it would be a little bit unfair for me to include them. But I mean, like Mikey Moore, Jai, players like that who've hopefully got a bright future at Spurs. But anyways, I think I'll wrap up there. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. What would you rate this transfer window out of 10? It'd be great. It'd be lovely to hear your thoughts on it as well. Thank you very much for watching. This is Dylan from DillonCOYS. Yeah, take care. Come on, you Spurs.